Microdose, yeah. Microdose. Microdose. Microdose, dose. Microdose. Microdose, dose. Microdose. Microdose, dose.
Happy New Year, y'all. Kush Hayes here, coming to you. Episode 99 of the Microdose. The road to 100 is just 1 week away, and hell of a coincidence, it is New Year's Eve. I hope you're with friends. I hope you're with family. I hope you're with someone you love, your best pet, whoever, your favorite Lego toy. It doesn't matter. As long as you're healthy, you're happy, you don't, your lungs haven't melted, your heart hasn't exploded, there isn't a bullet in your ass. It is going to be the best year coming up. As usual, local by choice, international by nature. I'm joined with a friend all the way from Cologne, Germany. He's my man, Harold Casablanca. What's good, my
Hi,
friend?
Kush.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It has been so long. Like you and I have never even video chatted before, but like you and I know each other from the Redhead Days Festival, which I talk on and on and on about here on the Microdose. And damn, dude, you're looking good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, so do you. Good to see you too. Good to hear from you again. Yeah, we hardly ever communicate outside the Red Hat Days Festival, but we grew pretty close over the years, I feel. And yeah, great to be part of this.
So we just had Christmas. New Year's Eve is like 3 hours away for you when this drops. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Is that a thing they do in Germany or in any part of Europe? Like, what is your goal? What is your mission for the next 365 days?
Yeah, they do. Same as everywhere, I guess, US. Nobody sticks with it. But yeah, what was my goal? It's the last couple of years. I'm always trying to gain some weight, which I know sounds weird, but
that's a flip.
I'm a skinny guy, and I'm always trying to, like, I don't know, gain a little weight. Never works, but that's also okay. I have a plan to, like, I had the plan to, after I got 40, to gain like 2 pounds every year. So when I'm old, I'll be fat and wrinkle free because it's just pushing out from the inside.
Okay, well, you're going on the William Shatner plan. Fascinating.
Exactly.
He's public about that. He's like, yeah, I try to put on about 5 pounds every year. That's how I keep the wrinkles out of my face. That's ironically how I don't look 90. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's healthy either, Bill, but okay.
That's exactly my idea. And besides that, 1st January, that's my birthday. So for me, New Year's Eve is always a little strange.
Okay, well, happy birthday to you as well, my man.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, I'd always seen that on your Facebook profile, and I was like, oh, he just did that to like not get spam bots or whatever in June or whatever it is. Okay.
Everybody thinks that, but no, that's true.
Well, shit, man. Happy birthday. So I literally just poured some whiskey and I raised my glass to you, my friend.
Oh, that's actually a great idea. I got some nice Japanese whiskey for Christmas, so I'm gonna open that in a minute.
Right on, dude. Right on. Well, dude, I brought you on to ask you, have you been able to get to the theaters? What has Germany's COVID practice been like? I mean, everyone's doing masks, but like, is Omicron, is O affecting you guys, or are you already on to Pi and Zeta?
No, and the Omicron hasn't really dropped here yet. I think it's a big thing in England, and it's the strongest or fastest spreading new variant, but I think it didn't really start here yet. We're still on the beginning, and generally talking about theaters were closed till basically this summer, I think. Then reopened. Maybe they were open in between for a while with the plan of only every 2nd seat being used.
By the way, mandatory social distancing when they would do that, it was amazing. Like the theaters reopened up. The theaters had always been open, but finally we were getting the first run features again in April, and I was finally like, all right, I got my vaxes. I'm ready to do this. I'm going to go see Wrath of Man, and they had 3 seats in front of me. No one was allowed to sit in. And then the
Mm.
3 seats to the left, no one was allowed
Yeah.
to sit in. And again, same with the right. And because I was sitting in the back, that just wasn't an issue. But I was like, I like this bubble stuff. Yeah, like just keep every asshole away from me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's actually I'm not the smallest guy, but it's amazing how often like the only tall guy in the whole building is sitting in front of you, of course, right in the seat in front of you, and just not having that. But I'm not a big theater goer though, so I like to watch my movies at home. Sometimes I go, but like when there's a special thing like the new Star Wars or something like that, and then I'll go to the theater, find some place where I can watch it in English, because usually we have stuff dubbed here, and so it's always kind of a hassle to find a place where you can see it in English. Yeah, stuff like that I watch, and then I'm disappointed and don't watch the next 2 movies. But
now let me ask you this. Now,
yeah.
Are American movies for you better in their native English, or do you mind the German dub or the Dutch dub, or just whatever native dub?
Well, first of all, the German dubbing is really, really good. I
Okay.
used to work a lot in that field, so maybe I'm biased there. No, quality is great. Usually, more or less famous actors who do voices of famous people. Like Bruce Willis has the same voice for the last 30 years, so you don't
gotcha.
get confused that he has a different voice in every movie. And those are skilled actors that do that, so it's not bad. But I have the luxury of being able to watch the movies in the original version and understand them, because having to read subtitles, I think like the movies are a visual medium, and you shouldn't read while you watch a movie. Now and then for a little bit, if somebody says like 2 sentences in Japanese or something, or just Ghost Dog springs to mind, where he's speaking to the guy in the ice cream van, I think, and he only speaks French. I was thinking about that movie a lot last like 2 weeks. Haven't seen it in a while, but I always like that
goddamn
scene
movie.
with it. Yeah, it is. It is typical 90s hitman, little weird. Yeah, there was the great run of hitman movies in the 90s that were pretty original compared to what's coming out now.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
I was
What did you
thinking
want to say
about
about the ice cream man?
Oh, he's
He's
speaking
French, I remember.
And you need the subtitles just to see, and they're only communicating. Forrest Whitaker only speaks English. He only speaks French, but they always say exactly the same thing, and you only see that by the subtitles. That's okay to have, like, for that 5 sentences, it's okay in a movie to have subtitles, but not for a whole movie. I don't know. You miss all the action on the screen. You're supposed to watch that.
Oh my god, that's I find that fascinating coming from you and all the way from over there. Like, I have no problem reading my movies. I literally sit 7 feet away from my TV, and I don't want to blare it, so I wake up the neighbor's kids. Like, it's everything's small around here like that. So I'm always just, yeah, it's not an issue for me. Like, it's still within my visual path. Wow, that's interesting to hear from you, Harold.
Yeah, and that being said, also this afternoon I watched a French movie with subtitles, so it's pretty late at night here already. So OSS 017, it's a kind of James Bond parody.
Okay.
I could have watched that in German, but I watched it in French, even though I don't speak French, with subtitles, just to get the atmosphere, because that changes a lot in the dubbing process. Often the whole audio file is taken out, and they do everything new, all sound effects, everything. So the movie just sounds differently, and the mixing is different. Usually voices are much louder in the dubbing, so it's easier to understand. While the sound editing in a movie, in an, I don't know, Hollywood movie, usually is the environment is mixed in and everything, and it's not that clearly separated.
Well, dude, it sounds like a lot of the theaters over there have not converted to modern sensibility. Like, out here in San Francisco, there's only 2 or 3 theaters left where, depending on where you sit, if some dude taller than you sits in front of you, that's going to be a problem. Everything else is now tiered off like an arena.
Yeah.
So that's not even a problem. And then the even more modern theaters all have walls now in between rows, so that even if you're sitting all the way in the back and you're trying to enjoy the movie, the douchebag in front of you can be on his cell phone, and he'll only be irritating the person to his left or his right, not behind him. And I love that feature too.
No, you have that too here in the newer movies.
Okay.
Newer, I don't know. It's just like Cologne is a pretty big city, and you have the old theaters, and they didn't change that much. I don't know. The whole last couple of years were different, I think, but like there wasn't that much money in running a theater in the early 2000s.
Oh
That's
wow.
what I
Okay.
heard, and then that's why the whole 3D thing came back and everything. So they
It's a
tried to
different
get more
industry too
people
over
into
there.
the exactly, and so there wasn't much money to reinvest into the theaters and making like they got nicer seats. Everybody got nicer, bigger seats and stuff,
Okay.
but not like that. You change the whole inside of the theater, so you have higher rows. They didn't do that. The other thing was when they reopened in the summer, is you don't have all the streaming services you have in the US. Like I don't know, there's so many. There's
Too many.
Crackle and Hulu and HBO Max. I mean, we have of course there's Apple Plus, Netflix, Disney Plus. You get that kind of stuff, and they also here you can see maybe stuff that was on HBO Max that's going to be on Netflix here because there is no HBO Max, so they have the rights for
It's
Germany
different
and
licenses.
exactly.
For example,
And,
folks, Star Trek Discovery and all that new, all those
oh
new
yeah,
Star
that
Treks,
was
those are Paramount Plus or CBS All Access or
exactly.
whatever it was. But over there,
Yeah,
it's free on Netflix. Like a lot of
yeah,
people don't
it was.
understand that.
And now it's not anymore, and that was a big thing for never mind Star Trek stuff. I'm not I don't know, I'm watching the new show, but I don't know what to think of it. I like Lower Decks, the animated series
Okay.
they started like 2 years ago. There, that's more fun, I think. I haven't seen the new one. There's Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy, Prodigy, I think with Captain Janeway in some
Okay. I think it's
form,
an
but it's
animated project also,
yeah,
right?
exactly, computer
Okay.
animated, not drawn. So
Oh, weird.
or yeah, I didn't like the animation that much.
What has been your favorite movie of 2021? It doesn't matter if you saw it on streaming, if you saw it in the theater. It doesn't even have to be the best movie, but like what's been your top three?
I had to think for the number one was pretty clear. That's just the movie I remember. Also because I told so many people about it and nobody watched it. Well, it's Old Henry.
Old
I
Henry. Okay. I
I'm
don't know what that is.
I think it
Okay.
came out on Apple Plus,
Okay. Yeah, I
uh,
don't have the
and
Apple
that's a
Plus, but
problem. Now you have so many CBS and Apple Plus and Disney all releasing their own movies just to have stuff on the platform, but you don't notice if you don't have that. And there's great movies coming out, but the director is Pozzi Ponsiroli, also written by
okay.
Pozzi Ponsiroli.
Tim
Tim
Blake
Blake
Nelson.
Nelson,
I forget what I've seen him in, but he's
uh,
that guy.
the Ballad of
Trace
Buster
Adkins. Okay.
Scruggs,
Oh, Stephen
and
Dorff.
yeah,
Oh, it's a very
why I
small
liked it.
cast.
Yeah, I suppose it's a COVID production because I wouldn't see why it shouldn't be because I think they had all the distances going on, but you don't notice that 1900 something like that.
Damn.
And old Henry lives there on his farm with his son. It's a Western theme, and what I liked about it, it almost has no soundtrack.
Oh,
Uh, there's music now and then, but only very sporadic. And
it's not
I
wall to
like,
wall, just infecting your
yeah,
ears. Like there's a purpose to the
exactly.
music. Yes, good.
And it could have,
Sometimes, and
but in
when
the
we need it to be
silence
quiet, it's
and
just quiet, which is unlike me
exactly.
talking over you. Excuse me.
And no problem. And also Tim Blake Nelson is
Mhm.
just he has a lot going on in his face. So I don't know, just let him act his and it's a very simple story, pretty brutal now and then.
Okay.
Um
this is an indie film, but it's looking at these financial numbers. It's what I call indie-rific, which means it's smaller than an indie film. It made $21,000 on its opening weekend, but it's domestic,
Well,
and according to this, worldwide gross was only $42,000. So it had the most limitedest of runs at the top of October, at least out here in the United States.
that's the thing about the theaters reopening. That's what I was saying about why I started with the streaming services in the US and the variety of them. At a certain point last year, they decided we're not going to wait with our movies till the theaters reopen. We got stuff in backstock. We're going to give that stuff to streaming services, sell them to them, let them stream it now, so it's done. And that happened with Wonder Woman, and or maybe the theaters were briefly open, I think, in the last days of Trump, maybe. I don't know what was going on in that winter, and maybe they came out there. Anyway, all that stuff was already streamed in the US like half a year before, and then there was no streaming services providing that for Germany or Europe. So that stuff all came out in the cinemas now when they reopened. Like, I'm not gonna watch Wonder Woman. I watched that half a year ago because it's as soon as it's released digitally into the internet, everybody can watch it. And maybe not in 4K, but yeah. So I saw most of the stuff, and they still have loads of stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so I can tell you this, that in the last days of Trump and in the first year of Biden, so depending on what city and state you were in San Francisco, theaters were open up 2 months after COVID started. But because now all the distributors were all gun shy, they were desperate to just show anything. So you would see like, oh, E.T. and Jurassic Park and The Empire Strikes Back and like Raiders of the Lost Ark, lots of Steven Spielberg movies, FYI. But they're like, let's just show the best of the best, and we'll make. Oh, by the way, tickets are $5, and even then, like people still weren't biting. And like I'd be looking at the apps because I'm literally just laying around the house. I'm desperate to do anything, and it's not going to happen. But I'm just like, yeah, that theater that's a mile away. Wow, it's showing The Empire Strikes Back for $5, and there's like 3 people in the theater, and they're all scattered out. I was just like, I just can't trust it right now. Like, and yeah, it took a long time for me to be able to like stick my pinky toe back into the cinema. But then every now and then, like, they tried to release Tenet as a first run film, and then again, still like only 3 people are going out. So Tenet did miserable. Just regardless of what you think about it, it just bombed. Bill and Ted 3, they tried to make that a thing, and it did better on streaming anyways. Wonder Woman went straight to streaming out here, but then for whatever reason, 9 months later, they're like, oh, let's give her a theatrical run. We'll put her in for a week and see what happens anyway. And I couldn't tell you what happened there, but because I think like Fast 9 is out at this point when they tried to give Wonder Woman its theatrical run.
I actually thought about putting that in my top 3 because I don't usually watch movies from the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, okay.
But I watched that one, I think, as a double feature with Jungle Cruise.
Both two very long movies that were unnecessarily long. Ugh.
True, but Hollywood at its finest. Straight ass entertainment. Like since I didn't watch the last 2 fantastic Fast and Furious movies, I don't know which one the last one, and I didn't watch it. I just saw parts, and I know it's a crazy stunt show, but it was just like, this is insanity. That's like the whole movie is just like, what the fuck? And
I'm a big fan of all the Fast and Furious movies, and Fast 9 was, I think it is now the worst of them. And that's what I love the shit where he's driving up the bridge as it's collapsing. I love that shit. I love that he made his car Tarzan swing across a river. I love that nonsense. Okay.
And also that they say like there is no magnet this power. Yeah, with this strong. And there's special magnets. So they acknowledge that it's all bullshit. And it's what just and John Cena now being in everything, I think he's hilarious. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an amazingly crazy movie, which shocked me even more because I usually don't watch that kind of stuff. Or I do, but not that series. And I don't know. Yeah, but that was fun. And so was Jungle Cruise.
Jungle
It
Cruise is
reminded,
delightful and charismatic and a lot of fun and has great action. And then you get to like the 97-minute mark, and you're like, fuck, there's still a whole hour in this. Like,
yes,
there are plot points characters we haven't even met yet. And it's just like, oh god damn it. No, just
yeah,
stop.
and then
I'm at my peak here.
yeah, and it gets very Pirates of the Caribbean-y
Yes, it
in the
does.
end. And it's also the problem that the movie has now, and I think that's why I think that it's a instant classic, is you have to take a step back from The Rock being in everything right now,
Mhm.
because there was so many Rock movies. Also, Red Notice that just came out on Netflix.
Mhm.
That's a fun movie, but I don't
Oh,
want
it's
to see
garbage.
another Rock movie right now. No, right now, it's the same.
Mhm.
Who's the other guy in that? That was in
Ryan
Free
Reynolds.
Guy. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan.
I don't want to see Ryan Reynolds for a year or two. That would be nice. It's the same with The
Yeah.
Rock. Take a day off.
I somehow ended up seeing every Ryan Reynolds movie this year, and I was just like, God, you're not even acting anymore. You're just playing
Yeah,
your cartoon character, and it's I'm over
exactly.
it. Yeah, you're
He's
just
like
being
Jackie.
Deadpool now.
Yeah, or he's basically like Jackie Chan, the Jackie Chan character that Jackie Chan portrays in his movies, or
Mm.
Adam Sandler. I don't know the
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know
okay,
small variations of just him or
yeah.
his shtick, whatever you want to call it. No, I don't know. I hated the Green Lantern so much. I don't think I ever forgave him for that.
Oh, you
That's
got to forgive him for that. You got to forgive him for that. That's not his
yeah.
fault anymore. What
I
did you think of Free Guy? Just since you brought that up a second ago.
I think that was a very maybe the best adaptation of the whole computer involvement, real person, artificial intelligence. You had Ready Player One
Mhm.
and a bunch of other movies that had similar stories.
Mhm.
But I think they made that work because the whole or in Tron, like somebody being sucked in the computer or something,
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
whole setup with an AI going rogue and having a conscious isn't new either. But still, I thought that was for a fun entertainment movie. That was pretty clever how they put the computer reality into the real world, and
Mhm.
I thought that was not as bad as most of the others. And
The one thing I
yeah,
recognize about Free Guy was it for some reason was a crowd pleaser. However, I hated it with a passion, and I mean I already knew going into it it's just the Lego movie. It's just Ready Player One without all the
true.
intellectual property, but still managed to squeeze in like some Marvel and Star Wars tropes because it was now a Disney film. But I ended up seeing Free Guy, and then ended up getting so drunk that I went to what I'm about to transition to into one of my favorite movies of the year, The Night House. I couldn't hang. I was like, this movie is too sad, and I'm way too drunk, and I gotta go now. And like, it's one of the few movies I've walked out of that I was just like, I can't handle this right now. I need to go. I would eventually come back to see it the next day, and it's listed as a horror movie. It's all paranormal, this and that and the other, but it's actually just a movie about. It's a depressing movie about just grief and loss, and how do you cope with like finding out like the woman in this, her husband shoots himself in the middle of their lake, and all of a sudden she starts finding out all these deep secrets about him. This is a David Bruckner movie. It's written by Ben
Yeah,
Collins, and
I just pulled it up on IMDb, which is hilarious because the original title, as you said, is a Night House. German
mhm.
title, The House at Night. Like, what the fuck? Why are you translating? And why put it? I don't get that. There's a lot of German titles that are still English, but different
Mhm.
from the original one. It's just, yeah, The House at Night.
Cheap plug. If you go to my Instagram account at Kush and Kai, every time I go and see a first run movie in the theater, I always go with the foreign posters. So it's always a
Mm.
different. I try to find something with the most different translation, and usually it's just, well, this is just in Chinese, or this is in Japanese, or this is in Czech. But like, yeah, every now and then you'll come across The House at Night, and that always tickles me to no end. But
Yeah,
Rebecca Hall is in this. She's the main character. You know her as the Professor Mom from Godzilla vs. Kong, which was also an
okay.
HBO Max thing this year.
Also, great movie of this year.
Goddamn, was it delivered everything it promised. All right,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's an Academy
Oh
Award
yeah.
winner or anything, but I had so much goddamn fun waiting up at midnight for that,
Yeah.
and I was not disappointed.
Like they did a lot of stuff right in the latest run of Godzilla movies, and also
Well,
with
I
the
don't know
whole
about
Kong
that.
series mixing up. Yeah, the
Kong
first
was
ones were a
good.
little late.
I actually like the 2014 Godzilla. It's very rooted. It's very grounded. It's a lot of like, what if, how. It's trying to be everything that Shin Godzilla was, but in
Wait,
American.
the
But
which Godzilla? The 2013? No, I'm not sure.
2014.
2014. That's
That
no
was
the
a that was a
Roland Emmerich is from the early 2000s or 90s with Matthew Broderick,
yeah, that was awful.
Jean, Jean Reno.
I so
Yeah,
since you
that's
brought
just not
up the
it's not
1999
American
Godzilla,
movie.
it's a terrible movie. It's such a terrible movie that was the movie that like I gathered all my friends together. I bought like 15 tickets. Everyone's gonna come and see this at the Coronet in San Francisco opening night. We all went to go see it. It was so terrible. They never let me pick another movie again after that.
Uh,
But anyway,
yeah.
one of my top three favorite films is The Night House. It is super indie-rific. Nobody fucking
Okay.
saw it. Like, it got picked up at Cannes, at the Cannes Film Festival, and then COVID hit, which didn't help its chances
Yeah.
at all. But if you want to be bummed out, and I don't recommend anybody be bummed out, but like it's a fantastic emotional film about grief and loss and discovering secrets that you wish you hadn't. And I would recommend everybody go see that. It's definitely streaming now, but it did
Yeah.
zero at the box office.
Yeah, I hate it already.
Oh, yeah, you probably would hate it. That's fair.
No,
That is fair.
yeah.
Because it's a
I
sad fucking. I'm just like, even my sunglasses and my hood aren't gonna hide all these tears. I just. Ugh. Harold, what's your next favorite
yeah,
film of 2021?
I'm gonna go with something international, Riders of Justice.
Okay,
Um,
please. What is this movie?
Danish movie. Is it Mats Mikkelsen?
Mads
Uh,
Mikkelsen. Okay, yeah, people love him out here.
Known from, yeah, I think he was in Rogue One. No, it's not Rogue
He
One.
was.
He was in Rogue One, exactly. He plays a soldier.
Okay.
And he's in Afghanistan for the Danish military,
Hmm.
joined forces, Afghanistan. Nothing to do with the story so far. And then an accident happens in the train, and his wife dies. So he comes back, very sad, and some computer analysts find out that there was somebody who was supposed to go on trial the next day or as a witness was in that train too, and he was killed there, and that it wasn't an accident, but it was an assassination attempt or terrorist act, whatever. And they tell that to Mats Mikkelsen, who is a former soldier. Then it goes down the alley of the classic revenge movie, like, I don't know, Equalizer, but it's a little weird because it's Danish.
Hmm.
And like every European, when you're not from there, there's a lot of weird stuff just going on. There's the regional stuff from same when you watch a French movie, or I guess when Danish people watch German movies.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
and the people are hilarious. It's a funny movie. You wouldn't expect that. There's a lot of it's dark in a lot of places, but it's also fun, quite violent as I remember it, quite some twists and turns. And that's actually the movie that I saw up there in most of the top 50 or top 20 movies of this year in Esquire. And I don't know, I checked some just to see if I forgot something that I saw and maybe forgot to mention. And it's, even though it's an international movie, it's like in every top 20, I think. Not sure it was nominated for an Oscar or will be.
Well, yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't gotten to Oscar nominations yet. The Golden Globes, which is the Hollywood foreign press, they just did all their nominations. Really weird list this year too. I don't have the nominations in front of me, but it's very strange list this year.
Anyway, that's a great movie. Great thriller, some great fun. Now, it's not a fun movie. It's a pretty dark thriller with lighter moments. Actually quite disturbing finale.
Good, you gotta check that out. It's do we know if it's on any streaming services or is it on a service out there?
Not sure. I'm pretty sure you can only see it in Danish with subtitles. There's no dubbed version in German out, at least I'm pretty sure. Not sure. I think it's still in theaters here.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me
These things
check.
go two ways. Either if it's in theaters there, it could have already been out 6 months ago here, or is due to come out 3
Exactly.
months from now. Yeah.
Exactly. That was the thing, like with Wonder Woman.
One of my second favorite movies of this year is The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Now, are you familiar with Jim and Tammy Faye Baker over there?
I know you would do that to me. Just take out like the crazy movies no one's ever heard of, and I'm standing here as a mainstream guy.
You
Okay.
already said the crazy. You've already said two
No, no.
crazy movies no one's heard of on this show. So don't
Oh, yeah,
get it twisted.
okay. I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people have probably streamed Old Henry. Not sure, but I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
They should.
Are you familiar with the real life characters of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker? It's okay if you're not. I'm just asking.
No.
But they are part of this movie. So the answer is no.
What was the movie
you
again?
don't know who these people. The Eyes of Tammy
No, I don't know
Faye.
who's this. No.
Okay, that's okay.
No.
That's okay, Harold. That's all right. Calm down, baby.
Wait,
calm down. So Jim and Tammy Faye Baker were a married couple that were Christian evangelicals, and they like revolutionized watching church on TV. All right, the super churches they have a big part about that, like full on soccer, football arenas just filled with people coming to
Andrew
Garfield, Jessica Chastain. Like they disappeared into those characters, and it's still 20 minutes too long for what it is, for the point of view that we're seeing, which is all through Tammy Faye Baker, not Jim at all. It should have been 20 minutes shorter. However, it's very entertaining. Michael Showalter from The State. I don't know if you're familiar with that comedy troupe. He directed it, did a great job with it. I don't think it's getting enough love. When I did see it, some dude definitely fell asleep because he was snoring throughout the whole thing. But I was just like, this movie is fucking amazing, yo. Like,
yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now, and I like the colors. It looks a lot like it reminds me of Hairspray.
So these two were to bring you up to speed. These two were embattled in a huge controversy where Jim Baker had an affair with a volunteer or just even some random 19-year-old woman named Jessica Hahn. And some ill shit went down in a hotel room with him and his second in command that wasn't his wife, and they ended up trying to pay her off, but not with their own money, which still came from church donations, but from the actual church donations. and that became a whole federal crime thing, and Jim Baker would end up actually dying in prison. Spoiler alert. But like, they revolutionized television and just faith-based anything. They actually got a satellite launched into space so people in Germany and Brazil and the deepest parts of Africa could watch them scam money out of people. And people would do this hand over fist. You know, he'd be like, the government's coming down on us. And someone wrote a real nasty thing in the newspaper that hurt my feelings. But if you could double your donations right now, Harold Casablanca, God will really appreciate it. And the phones would start ringing, and people couldn't give their credit card information to them quick enough. Like, fascinating time period in America.
Yeah, it was pretty big in there was a Steve Martin movie in the early 90s, I think, where he portrayed a Leap of Faith. Of course, there's a suicidal tendencies classic, Send Me Your Money. And but that's a big thing in America, and I think it's starting with the free evangelical churches. There's one over in Holland, which is the fastest growing church in the whole country. Is some, I don't know, free church, and which I guess they all are, which just gives you tax exemptions, and I don't know.
There was definitely tax exemptions involved, but like, they were also living in mansions and, you know, had solid gold bathroom fixtures. And it's like, come on, guys, what are you doing here? What is this bullshit? You know, the Tammy Faye Baker is coming out in like full on mink robes, you know, like things that cost people like a whole year's salary, you know, the lower end people, just, that's how much it cost. It was a bad look, but they did their thing. They were successful till they weren't. And I think it's a fascinating movie. I think it's an entertaining film. And I would absolutely tell you in Germany to go check it out.
Yeah, it's a very American topic.
But so is cowboys in the Old West.
That's true. But that's why it's such a great topic. I watched. Did you see Religious, the Bill Maher movie?
Okay, I haven't seen that, but I know of it.
Like,
Bill Maher is hit or miss for me. I don't hate him.
Yeah,
I've even seen him perform live. I didn't know he was going to be there, but that happened.
Just portraying the landscape of religious groups in America, basically. And just doing that is so crazy. I mean, it probably would be everywhere, but influence from certain groups. Never mind. I'm not an expert on everything, on very few things actually. So I'm not gonna dive into American politics or involvement of the church into it.
That's okay, buddy.
So
that's okay. What's your number one favorite movie?
The number one favorite. Oh no, I started with the number one. Number one was Old Henry.
What's your number three favorite movie?
I'm not really sure. And number three, I had on 3, but I think I'm gonna change it. I had the Suicide Squad because it's just great entertainment. It was
super entertaining.
What I
sat out the first Suicide Squad. I have still no desire to see it, despite how much I liked James Gunn's movie. But yeah, man, from beginning to end, just all entertainment.
But what I didn't like about the first one is that it's like those 90s movies where they just got a video director who did MTV videos and then got him to make his first movie. And it's all like one music video. And it's also, there is just one pop music track after the other, which is okay in Guardians of the Galaxy because it's part of the story that he's playing that music all the time. So that's also, it's not modern pop music, whatever. But the first Suicide Squad movie totally annoyed me with that. Everybody gets his own little soundtrack and 3 minutes to his own song. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't need that. That's actually, and loads of movies do that. Loads of TV shows do that now. Like, I'm not sure if it was the Umbrella Academy, where they basically have one song in every episode, around minute 30. There's like a 3.5 minute full music video. They play the whole song.
Dig it.
Uh,
I
Umbrella
didn't see the
Academy. It's
Umbrella
something about
Academy,
gifted
but
children in a house.
it's
Uh,
X-Men without it calling it X-Men. I know. I understand that much. The
Also,
original
what I like
Suicide
about
Squad, Academy Award winning, the original
Mm,
Suicide Squad, FY, you have to say the whole thing. But it is one of the victims of studio interference where they literally took the movie out of the director's hands despite what he had already filmed, and they just went like,
mm.
Guardians of the Galaxy is a big thing. So we have to make it like that now. It incorporated a lot of pop music from the 70s and 80s. So that's what we're gonna do. And then they topped off that decision with, well, Guardians of the Galaxy was such a big thing. Let's get the director of Guardians of the Galaxy in after his non-scandal, and we'll hire him to make this new Suicide Squad movie. Which, by the way, great fucking decision because he made a great fucking movie. But they left
Yes.
him in charge of that movie. You know, if there's a music cue, it's because he wanted that music cue.
No, but the Zack Snyder Justice League that came out earlier this year.
Oh, the
The
Snyder cut, but also a
Yeah,
fascinating project.
yes. The problem is that I already seen the other one, so it's kind of repetitive at
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
But
for
it's
sure.
worse. Like it's a better movie, no doubt about it. It was kind of confusing to. I didn't even know that. I learned something in that movie that they
What'd you
still
learn?
actually produce movies for the IMAX format. Do you
Okay,
remember
interesting.
that Zack Snyder one is in 4:3, the old
Yes,
television
yes,
format?
I
And I
do.
was really like,
That was a
what is
shock, but that
that?
was the decision he
Confused me
made.
for a minute.
It
Yeah,
confused a
but
lot
it's
of people,
because,
from what I understand.
and so I read up on that. And a lot of movies are produced in that format. And then they're reduced to the widescreen format that you get to see in a normal movie theater, which means I think, but there's a couple of pretty successful movies from the last couple of years who are out there in a much bigger screen frame.
Yes, frame
Saw
rate.
them, but because the picture is like double as high,
Mhm.
and I think that's weird. So
I agree.
yeah, it confused me. I in the end I watched it. I think I switched to normal, to 2.33, whatever the normal cinema
Oh, you actually change your TV
format.
settings to watch it better. Wow.
Yeah, no, on a VLC player you can just over put that over whatever 16 by 9 or however what
Okay.
format you want to watch them.
Yeah, I remember staying up for the Snyder cut because I was like, well, this is an event. We still don't have real things to do, so let's watch the Snyder cut. I hated the concept of the Justice League because the DCU, DCEU, whatever we're calling it, DC movies were just reactionary. They weren't trying to be their own thing. They were trying to just emulate the success of the Marvel movies. And I hated Man of Steel, and I hated Batman versus Superman by a lot. Wonder Woman was surprisingly decent despite falling apart in the third act. I would only see the original theatrical Justice League because I had the movie pass card. I've explained, I've told this story a few times now, so I'm just going to jump past it. I was just like, this doesn't cost me money, so I don't care. And I was like, well, that was cute, but there's a lot of flaws in this movie. And then when the Snyder cut finally came out, I was like, all right, I totally understand everything here. I hate this format. I let it ride. I just wrote it out, but it didn't make any sense because this movie was never going to get a theatrical cut. Because think about it, Harold. I don't know what things are like out there, but we now get a half hour of trailers and commercials. They're all called advertisements, but trailers and commercials, and that's before the movie starts. If the movie starts at 4:30, that's trailers and commercials, and then the real movie actually starts at 4:58 or 5:02.
Uh,
It's a bad look for us right now, but that's where it is. So there's no way like Zack Snyder was ever going to get a 4-hour movie into theaters.
no.
This is one of the most unique remakes we've ever witnessed in modern life, modern
Yeah,
cinema.
but of course he would have. Of course it was different because it wasn't what he originally did, and he had time to review it and do it differently. But still, I think that would have been the DVD director's cut version that would have come out for streaming services with a DVD release. Even though they might have cut it down for an hour or something for the movies, they might have done that, or put it into make it a two-parter right away.
Well, the original plan was for Justice League to be 2 parts, but according to this Snyder cut that we saw, the first part was going to be 4 hours long, and that's without studio interference. And then we were going to get a second part, and who knows how fucking long that thing would have been. But we didn't get any of that. So
generally speaking, I must say, even though like there's a Suicide Squad that was a good movie, I like the Zack Snyder Justice League, but I grew up with comic books, and I gotta say there's a lot of great animated stuff coming out. There was some good Justice League movies this year. I think the Injustice movie picked up.
I haven't seen that yet, but I am excited to see it.
And there was the Long Halloween Batman movie, 2-parter, that was really good.
DC's animated division is killing it. Like, not everything is a home run, but they have so many movies out now that, like, most of them are fantastic. Also, most of them are super fucking violent. All right, like, it's what the DCEU wants to be with their darkness.
One of the greatest animated DCs is, I think a lot of people missed that, is the adaptation of Frank Miller's Return of the Dark Knight. That was also
I got that on iTunes. Yeah, it's good.
Partly in the Batman, or in the last one, in the Batman vs Superman was partly based on Return of the Dark Knight, I think. And
it wanted to be, sure.
Anyway, there's a great adaptation, just stuck to the original, made that a 2-parter. I think it's two times 80 minutes or something. Brilliant. That's just awesome. Just because the animation style, it's Frank Miller, it looks really great. And I saw an interview with Dave, the guy who wrote Watchmen and V for Vendetta, and the comic artist. And he says he never watches anything of his movie adaptations because he doesn't like the switch of medium. That's never right for him, he says. He doesn't like movie versions of books, and he doesn't like movie versions of comics, or the other way around.
He doesn't mind cashing those checks, though. Shit.
Nope. And but I get that somehow. And now the last year, what was it? Invincible, the animated show that came out.
Yes, on Amazon Prime out here.
And I think there's some. Anyway, they seem to have understood that, like, people who like comic books and superhero stuff, there's some good real TV shows like The Boys and stuff, but it's got to be more expensive to produce than just to make the comic book into an animated show and keep it close to the original. That's got to be faster.
I think you just have to put it in the right hands. I think you can give them the most limited budget. Like The Tick, Amazon Prime's version of The Tick, is the best Tick we've had, and we've had 4 iterations, maybe 3, but like outside of the comic book, which I never read, you had the animated series, which was fine for early 20-year-olds who were watching it the first time, like, wow, what a fun time. But then there was Fox tried to make a live action version sitcom of it, and well, that didn't work. But then you have Amazon Prime, and the borders are a little looser, but the story is still there. And
it says Rogan producing everything, I think.
Did he produce The Tick as well? I know he produced The Boys.
No, not The Tick. The Boys. Did he? No, Preacher. Oh, wait a minute.
He also produced Preacher. I still haven't seen, but I know he produced.
He produced a lot of entertaining stuff.
For sure.
I
like season 2 of The Boys better than I like season 1, which is weird for me to say, because usually that first one has all the proper focus in it, and it's like, this, we need to make this as perfect as possible. Oh no, now we have to make a new season 6 months from now.
I think that's just the basic understanding of like animated series have to be for kids. That's the thing with the Tick, because it's funny. It's still like it's not for children, but
To be
still
fair,
it's
yeah,
it's
the
funny.
the original
And
Tick was on the Fox Kids network, but like it resonated with late teenagers and young adults.
yes, because it was a silly comic book, and no, it's great. It's not a clear grown-up comic like Invincible is super violent, and
Super violent.
so having a grown-up animated TV show, maybe besides Ren and Stimpy or something like that. I don't know. What is there anything really for grown-ups? That's in Japan. I'm sure there is animated stuff.
Oh
There's
boy.
loads of
Yeah,
stuff
there is.
for grown-ups. And but for I think for the West, it's a new medium to watch a like an animated show for grown-ups. That's just yeah, I know it should be produced with real actors, but I don't know if that's really necessary.
We may never know. Um,
Yeah.
so your favorite movie of 2021 is or was the Suicide Squad? James
No,
Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
I started with number one. Old Henry was my favorite movie. Number two,
Okay.
The Riders of Justice. Number two, Suicide Squad. But this afternoon I thought, no, I'm gonna pick because I actually like that more, and I'm a big fan for years. And it was a great two-parter. The South Park COVID post-COVID special.
Not a
Uh,
movie, but okay.
yeah, no, they were two what 90 or no 2 60-minute parts.
Oh, well,
So
those are
it's
two
I don't know
60-minute
what
parts.
specials, whatever. They're not
Yeah, like
part of
TV shows.
the normal. And but combined, it's a movie. I don't know.
All right. I'm gonna
Anyways, the
let you have this one,
post-COVID
Harold.
special. Ah, okay, whatever. No, it's not a real movie. You're right.
I haven't seen, so I don't have the Paramount Plus, and I'm surprised it's not on the Brother-in-Law network. So he probably doesn't like it. But I haven't seen the last two South Parks, despite the advertisements.
Uh,
Before I get to my number one, like there was a lot of great movies out this year, and a lot of them were just delayed from the year before. But like I loved The Last Duel, which was the Ridley Scott movie with Matt Damon and Adam Driver.
I haven't seen it
Oh,
yet. It's in my to watch list. That's I was gonna say that there's a shitload of movies. I know great movies. I'm not sure if The Saints of Newark is a great movie, but that's one I haven't seen, even though I was a big Sopranos fan. There's also The Green Knight. I like night movies in general,
dig
which
it.
is more night as a round table stuff. I haven't seen that one either, which came
Mhm.
out this summer already, I think. And
Yeah,
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 there's a
yeah.
bunch of stuff.
Well, like I said, there are other movies out there that are fantastic. I love The Last Duel. I really, really,
Hmm.
really like Zola. It was in one of my favorite movie contenders of the year until it wasn't. The newest Spider-Man that just came out, fucking loved it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I was gonna say I heard great things, that it's just so packed full of stuff. Which just from seeing the trailer and putting all that, that's got to be a great movie. That's the same,
It's a
also the same recipe basically. Of what worked for the Suicide Squad, just a great ensemble of crazy characters. Like
yes.
if you give everybody 5 minutes, which they can totally fill, yeah, you already got your movie. And I guess that's the same in the Spider-Man. What can go wrong? Like
They
with
do it
all
right in
those
this one.
guys.
It absolutely could have been set up to fail, but they do it right. Still not giving any spoilers. 2 weeks out, you listen to last week's episode. You can hear about my actual experience watching the newest Spider-Man, but that's a whole other thing. A lot Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man got charged with a lot of nostalgia points, and I disagree with that. But what is guilty of a lot of nostalgia points is actually, I think, still my favorite movie of the year, despite seeing a bunch of new stuff, including like Being the Ricardos. Fantastic movie. I've seen that twice now. Gonna probably see it a third time. My favorite movie of the year is still Ghostbusters Afterlife. I
Oh, that's
hated
also I haven't
Ghostbusters
watched that.
Part 2. I hated 2016's Girl Ghostbusters. And I went in that like being optimistic, like, no, this would be the good thing I could see with my niece. Like she loves Melissa McCarthy. We're gonna love this. It was awful
Yeah, you
still.
can't go wrong with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is fantastic in this, and still the weight of the movie is not on his shoulders, and that's a great thing. Unlike the original Ghostbusters, this is actually a family film. That's not a bad thing though. Like, you don't even have to like the family, but it's just the thing I hate the most about Ghostbusters Afterlife is all the nostalgia and the Easter eggs. Like, they pull the movie back by a lot, but everything else within this film was fantastic. I was able to see it twice now in theaters. I'll probably see it one more time before this episode drops. Left the theater each time with a big smile on my face. It's a solid film. I hope you get to see it soon, Harold, because
Yeah,
it's definitely better than part two. It's better than the thing we
the
had 4 years
lady.
ago, 5 years ago. They
Yeah,
they
no,
got
I'm
lucky and they did it
just
right.
actually the for that and for Spider-Man, I was actually considering going to the theater and watching it, but then I didn't
You know, I don't
because
think
I
you
got
need to see either of them in the theater. Like I did it because it's less than a mile from my house now. But yeah, they're
yeah, no, we have like the biggest cinema complex in the city is like 100 yards away from our house.
oh, far out.
We live down. It's a big, big movie theater, and from the 90s, so still pretty modern. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I never dug the whole movie theater experience. I always liked the confusing feeling of going in when it's light and coming out and it's still light, or I don't know.
Hmm.
That always confused me. And but
I
besides
hear what you're
that,
saying.
no, don't really miss that. I have a projector at home,
Mhm.
so if I want to watch a movie in a widescreen or in a big format, and but yeah, I don't know. I don't like other people, and movie seats tend to be full of them.
I also don't like other people. Uh, I think we've done a hell of a
It was
show
a
here,
terrible.
buddy.
But anyway, yeah,
Is there anything
that's
you
gotta
want to
be.
plug? Do you have an Instagram page? Do you have a Facebook page you want people to go to? Is there a YouTube page? Is there something that isn't yours that you would just like to plug anyways?
I got my Instagram and everything. If you find it, feel free to join. I'm not plugging it. It's close to what mine. Yeah, it's something with Casablanca, I guess. If you find me, feel free to do that. I
They're
don't
not going to
know,
be able to do
doing
that,
some
but that's okay.
doing no, never mind. Doing a lot of artsy stuff right now.
All right.
Little sculpting, woodworking. I don't know,
Ooh,
stuff you
that's
pick up
exciting.
during the corona.
Dig.
Nothing on a professional level though. Yeah, still working in the mustard mill. If you're ever in Cologne, drop by the Cologne Mustard Museum. Don't know if
Do
I'm
they
there,
ship out?
but
Can they ship to
no,
Paris
they do not.
if
Oh
oh well,
yeah,
there
we
you go.
ship, I think, Europe-wide, but not to the US. Kölner Senfmuseum, if you want to Google that. Yeah, great mustard.
There you go. I do a bunch of stuff around here, folks. 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, this previous Wednesday, we dropped the Kick-Ass Movie Podcast season finale, episode 6, where Sweet Science Cinema's Jamil Hemphill and Kush and Kai hook up to talk about Best of the Best 1989, James Earl Jones, Eric Roberts, Chris Penn. It's a fantastic movie. It's one of the best discussions on that series, to be honest. Otherwise, check out the Waffle Box every Wednesday. It's the best part of Wednesdays. Friend of the family, Mike Fish from the United Kingdom, by way of New Jersey. We break down everything and nothing at all. That's Waffle Box Pod. You can find that on the BosNet.family. And then we're coming out sooner than later. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai season 4 on Kush and Kai. Date to be announced, but it's going to be a fantastic time. I hope you can be a part of it. Harold, thank you so much for being a part of this, man. I hope you have the happiest in New Year's. I look forward to seeing you at the next Redhead Days festival, but I don't even know if it's going to be this year, and I feel terrible about that.
Yes, uncertainty. Yeah, sucks. I hope it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. I
Well,
thought
the
that
festival is
last year
definitely
too.
going to
So
happen, but I don't know
yeah,
if my participation will.
thank you for having me.
You did great, buddy. Thank you so much, man. For
Bye
Harold
bye.
Casablanca, I've been Kush Hayes. You've been you. Music.
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the BosNet family.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like other people.